Yo, hey folks. Alright, so kind of want to do a little quick shout out to a movie that gets so much hate. But this guy personally loves it right here. But I have my reasons why I do. And I mean, I can also understand, though, on the other side of the fence, why people dislike it. You know, it's not for everyone. It's stylistically a completely different entity altogether. But I think that's one of the great things about it. And that movie is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Boom. Alright, so, yeah. So, what's to be said about this that hasn't already been said? A lot of people disliked it for it being a little too symbolic, of being a little too different than the mold of what we're used to in a Halloween franchise universe. But that's just it. You know, Rob Zombie, when he made this film, he was pretty much like, you know what, there's already been 9 fucking films of the same thing over and over. He was pretty much saying, fuck it, I'm going to make the film I want, and you're going to either fucking love it, or you're going to hate it, and I don't give a shit. And I respect him for that. This guy, like I said, loved it. And my reasons why are this, okay? It's brutal as all hell. Now, you know, it is Rob Zombie we're talking here, so yes, he is, you know, the, godfather of this past decade of brutality in his films. But this Halloween film matched it like unlike no other. Michael Myers in this film had a viciousness that I had not really seen in the remake nor the past sequels that really kind of got under my skin, and it got under my skin in this movie. He made him literally like a fucking, not a bum, like a derelict, a bum, you know, a drifter. And he lived that way, and it was kind of realistic in a way. It was one other thing I really liked about it was all the symbolic stuff going on with the white horse, you know, the white pony and stuff like that, because that's really psychiatric, you know, in the book of psychiatry and stuff like that. And it had a lot more also depth to it with the characters, such as Laurie, Annie, and Mr. Brackett. That I really liked. Now, the one thing I prefer the director's cut. However, one thing about the director's cut I do like and I don't like, I'm on the fence about, is the fact that Annie and Laurie hate each other. Which all that was cut out of the, you know, theatrical release. They, you know, edited it to the point where you thought they were still friends and they got along. Well, in this one, they hate each other, and it's kind of like, but it's realistic, because after a trauma that two people experience, it changes them. You know, and me having my own trauma in the past, it kind of, you know, screwed me up too for a while, and so I completely understood the Laurie character in this film. You know, she was going through a lot of shit, even just after a year or two after, and I totally got that. You know, being medicated and all that kind of stuff to deal with it. Also, I mean, come on, Caroline Williams in a cameo, fucking, you know, Margot Kidder, you know, that enough said. That was awesome. It was great stunt casting on his end, you know. I also liked, you know, the stuff between Annie and Sheriff Brackett, you know, the daughter and father stuff. So it made much worse and much more, you know, teary-eyed when Annie finally does bite the bullet, you know, and Mr. Brackett, her father, finds her dead in her own fucking splatter her own blood in this cut. It was touching, you know, but sad. Also, they did a lot of interesting stuff with the character of Dr. Loomis in this film, you know, as opposed to being the doctor who cared for his patient, he now was an egotist, you know, a douchebag, reality egotist out there to make the next buck and find fame. And, you know, a lot of people are on the fence about that too. You know, I kind of am, but and the universe that Rob Zombie set up for this, it made sense, you know. And, you know, there are things about it I didn't like the whole scenario where it has like this stuff inside Laurie's head with the whole montage of the fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you thing. Like, I could have done without that. That was a little too, I don't know, corny. I don't know, but I mean, I could have done without all that. But, everything else in this film was great. It had great shots in it. It was beautifully, had beautiful cinematography, seamless, beautiful cinematography. Some really great shots in this film. It was creepy in a lot of parts. And again, the opening hospital Nightmare Massacre set to Nights in White Satin was fucking awesome. And seeing Michael Myers with an axe drenched in rain, you know, coming at full velocity was fucking something to be scared of. It was scary. Excuse me. But, no, I mean, a lot of people hate this movie. And they have their reasons, and I totally understand those. But I loved it. I thought actually it was better than his remake. And that goes for his director's cut, theatrical cut, work print. Although some of the stuff in the work print of the remake I like. But I thought this shined better. It was his own film. He made something different out of the universe that's been retreaded over and over and over again. And that's something I have to respect from a filmmaker, He didn't set out to make what we come to expect and what the same rehash of stuff over and over again. So, hats off to Rob Zombie for that, and for making his Halloween 2 something different. And it also had an amazing soundtrack, Everything from, like I said, Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues to fucking Motorhead to Diamond Head, all that stuff. This soundtrack rocked. And that's one thing I also like about Rob Zombie movies. He knows how to ensemble a great classic rock metal soundtrack. Anyway, but with that said, yeah, I think this movie psychologically had a lot of stuff going for it. I liked it. I like how it also incorporated the use of Linda's father in the film, trying to attack Dr. Loomis for using her death as part of his fame to get to fame. And blood money and whatnot. So I thought it had a lot of good residual stuff in this film that that deeply embedded into the character's psyche about how things affected them, and that's what this movie was. It wasn't about Michael Myers killing people. It was about the trauma and how everything affected from the previous film affected the characters a couple years later, and that's what I love about it. From being from the perspective of someone who's been through some stuff before himself, I can understand that. And so I just wanted to give out a little shout out to Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie. It was something different, and I respect it completely for that. And that's about all I gotta say. So, haters, you can write back, or even if you enjoy this film, write back. I would love to hear opinions about it. But I already know there's going to be a lot of hate toward this, so I'm prepared for that. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.